I decided to change the name of the channel to Life Examined, as was this was a title of a show that I started about 3 years ago every morning. It's called Life Examined because this channel is about analysis, exploration, and living out your potential to its fullness. It's a derivative of a quote by Socrates that reads, "A life unexamined, an unexamined life is not worth living." So therefore the name changed to Life Examined. That's what we do here through product reviews, through self-analysis, through observation, through just experiencing life as it comes to us and not backing away from it. If you have witnessed the last couple of years, you will fall into any of the two categories, or two categories being those who just observe, which is in the minority, those who have a strong opinion, whether it's left or right, and those that get invited to holiday parties, and then those who don't get invited to holiday parties. Which group do you fall into? Either way, we're going to have a good time. Let's get started. Political ads in between each and every YouTube video. You click a video and there goes an ad for your local politician that you did not know existed for the last 3 years. There could be a problem in that too. What is your attitude toward these commercials? Most of them are filled with rhetoric. A lot of it is filled with accusations, very little information, except something that the ad makers and marketers think will keep you from voting for the other person. This is something that I studied for a few years in marketing when I took marketing classes and marketing courses. A lot of it had to do with the things that you point out. So it's less about what you do, but pointing out what the other person does not do. Flashback time. Good morning. It's a little bit past 5 a.m. here in the eastern portion of the United States. It's a foggy day. I hope that you are rested, that you got up, you made your bed, you drank your water, and you used the bathroom, and are ready to take on the day. That was the intro for about 3 years when I started a show that went live daily on Facebook called Life Examined, the new title of this channel. Life Examined, why? Because we are not afraid to ask the tough questions. Every question has an answer, or at least a follow-up question. So don't be afraid to challenge what is in front of you. Instead of silencing a voice, I invite you to consider a stronger argument, not a political ad. If you find it hard to watch music, if you find it hard to watch movies in the current era, in the modern era, in the present time, may I invite you to watch movies made before 1980. Before that time, most movies did not have a strong political lean, societal push towards changing your mind in either direction. Yes, you had your heroes. Yes, you had your villains. They weren't hidden with the current trimmings of, hey, this person is this gender and he's bad. This person is of this persuasion and he's good. So try to watch movies before 1980 and see if you don't start liking the art of filmmaking again. If not, please consider making your own film. The same goes for music. A lot of the music before a certain era, I would say for music, you could even listen to music up until perhaps the mid 80s. It was still about creativity and fun, and it wasn't very heavy on other stuff. Let's call it other stuff, unless someone has a better phrase that they want to insert into this space. Consider the time period in which you can listen to music from and music from. I guarantee you it's going to be eye-opening. It's going to open a well of creativity for you, just the way in that people took in the art of filmmaking and transferred that to screen, and also the way that people created music. You would actually hear instruments. There were full orchestras, bands, actual instruments playing, and created moods. They created scenes just by the science of sound, the science of visual effects, the science of acting, the moods behind every beat, or just the simplicity of acoustics, the simplicity of not a lot of drum machines or auto-tune or anything like that. Consider it. A lot of people will say, well, I just don't like modern music, and I understand that. But that's because a lot of the music being pushed is for commercial purposes, as it was back then. But the difference, I believe, is that before, music was something that, even though it had this commercial purposes, they still wanted to give you a product that was strong, something that I would consider even that the way that our brains process information now, because of cell phones and because of the different ways in which we do math, and our attention span is lessening. Even the way that we spend most of the day, most people nowadays have some sort of internet or phone addiction. So that changes the way that we process information. Try to remember your grandmother's phone number that you had in your mind, like that, if you're above 35 years old. Something to consider. If your grandma's still alive, have you spoken to her recently? Don't wait till Thanksgiving. It might cause some form of argument. But you'll realize that a lot of older people, too, they're willing to understand that politics is a dirty game, and they will hear you out without trying to stop you from talking. Consider it. If you find it hard to talk to a lot of younger people, see, everything connects here. Try to talk to someone who is perhaps 15 to 20 years older than you and has a different experience than you, or a different experience from what you've seen now in the modern era. I don't suggest you try to stop that person from expressing himself. Just listen. If you find yourself in the company of an older person, whether you believe they're right or wrong, just listen for a while. Take them in, process it, without believing they're right or wrong. One of the hardest things to do nowadays is to listen to someone and not try to listen to respond, but listen to process. A majority of people will agree that something needs to be done. A majority of those people will also look for a minority of people to do it for them because they can't be bothered with the time to make that change. How true is that statement? And many times they will use the minorities to do it. The minority will do it. Jordan or LeBron? Quick answer, choose you. Bet on you all the time. Jordan or LeBron, doesn't matter. Probably not. You give it power when you turn it on. You also give it power when you also give yourself power when you turn it off. Choices, choices, choices. What could I possibly mean? The year is not over yet. It's not even November. It's a perfect time for you to take up a course and learn a new skill. Don't wait until someone asks you to have a New Year's resolution, because if you have to wait to the New Year's to make a resolution, you're not resolute in making that change. See, that's the kind of truth that I'd like to engage in. There are people who understood that statement the moment that they heard it. Those are the people that I love to surround myself with. Whether it's cooking, art, reselling something that is old and you made it new again, polished it up, resell it. Whatever it is, a new skill. Don't think that we are complete just because you read some affirmation saying we're good the way we are. No, you can always get better. Lifelong student. Be the minority that decides to change. You could be the complaint or you can be the difference. When they turn off, we're always looking for a they, when they decide to turn the lights off again, will you be affected and how? Restaurants, entertainment places, educational institutions. How much do you depend on other people to keep the lights on for you? How do you work on generating your own electricity even when the lights are on? Build the ark. Many people have to find this out the hard way. Don't live in fear, live in or naivety. Some people have to find that out the hard way. Why do most people live in fear? Not because of what happened, because the news now, the news networks, whether online or on your phone, new addiction, is a constant cycle. The news turns off never. Even while you're sleeping, your phone is going off, giving you notifications of what you need to know on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute-to-minute basis. Every second must be occupied by breaking news. And what they are breaking is your focus and your concentration. From what? From your life, from your existence. The only job of the media is to inform you of the fear that is going to affect your health. Someone did this 20 miles from you. Someone did this halfway across the world. Someone did this. Someone did this. It's not a tool for information. It's a tool for fear and to program. You give it power. You take your power back. The job of the media is not to get you, it's to get you tense and to make you addicted to their brand. I believe in this guy. I believe in that guy. I am now informed that when the other guy, and one side says something about this guy, I'm going to bounce back and attack the other guy. And it's always going to be leaning one way more than the other because only a few companies own the majority of the media. meaning that whatever you think is by majority is not. Knowing that it's a skewed formula, you opt out. Yes, you can. Even during the Great Depression, there were people that were focusing on their own life. You can't focus on your own life and what's going on about what the breaking news told you. It's almost impossible. Multitasking many times is a skill, as was said in the early 90s, but now studies have shown that your mind can't be everywhere at the same time. If you don't believe me, you can ask the British Empire. See how thin they were stretched out? Not that you wanted to keep going, but you get the metaphor. You stretch yourself too thin. You can't be everywhere at the same time and hope to keep a hold on your sanity and clarity and your reasoning skills. Let's face it, everyone has some sort of internet addiction. Even you. You're where you should be all the time, and when you're not, you're with some underworld spy or the wife of a close friend. Carly Simon, 1972. What a line. There's strength in numbers, as you've heard it said. There's also strength in solitude. Try going out to eat alone after a breakup, after a divorce. Try to make your own entertainment that does not include a lot of other people. There's powerful noise to be made, and there's beautiful silence to be captured. The world is noisy right now. Try to find your silence in a world of noisiness. There's a war going on, and the war is for your sanity, for your concentration, and for your focus. I believe that in the next few years, Instagram will be a paid dating service. They already have the bots. They just need to charge people for DM access. As you see, some people already ask if you want to ask me a professional question, just give me $20 for a consultation to be hired as a model or something else. I also predict that LinkedIn, the business professional website, will also offer dating services to business professionals in the next few years. You only get one chance to make a good impression. That may be true. I challenge that you have multiple chances to make a good impression. Think about it. How many people have you actually met that they even made any impression on you? Things that usually set you apart from other people to make any kind of impression are manners. Saying good morning, saying good night. How are you? How you been? How you doing? Whether it's authentic or not, yes, you will get another chance. But when you decide to make a good impression, that's when you will stand out. When you decide to stand out, if you decide to stand out, when you decide to ask a question when everyone else is talking, you stand out. When you decide to give someone something when everyone else is taking or asking or begging for something, you will stand out. When you are creating something, instead of standing still and tearing somebody else down and pointing the finger, you will stand out. You always get a chance to make an impression. That's why words are so valuable. So when you say you're going to do something, you probably should do it. And don't say you're going to do something if you're not going to do it, because words and your honor is something that holds more currency than the money you can throw around. Therefore, if you're not going to do something, don't say you're going to do it. Then no one expects you to do anything until you say you're going to do it, and then everyone expects you to do it because they know that you are a person of completion of your word. Which is more important to you? Fast food ad and acting upon, hey, maybe I should, even think about it. Even when I say that Google knows you even more than your spouse or your significant other, person you're seeing, whatever. They do. Every day at around the time that they know when you get home, they'll send you a text to your phone from Uber Eats. Aren't you getting hungry now? Here's $10 off your next order. Order from Wendy's, from Arby's, from wherever. And if you're not disciplined, hey, I'm going to click here and just buy. Do you have the discipline, again, to ignore the war towards your focus? Do you have the wherewithal to turn the notifications off? A part of being focused is being trained in the distraction. Become distracted. I would prefer you become distracted so you can understand what I am talking about. I would hope that the time that you are giving to other things is something that you are very well, deeply versed in, so then you know that that's not working for you. That every half hour is planned into something that you can take action in. That you will feel better when you complete these things, and psychologically, you will feel drained if you don't complete these things. Whatever it is. Maybe it's just starting a video for the first time in a long time. And you'll feel better after you did it because you got a chance to express yourself when no one else asked you. What do you have on your mind? What are you doing? What are you working on? So perhaps this is the permission you need. If you need permission, which you don't, you'll need my approval, you'll need my permission for anything. I'm not sponsored or funded by anyone, so I get to speak what I want to say, and most of the time I like to do it respectfully. That's what I find works for me. But if you have something you can teach or something that you want to deliver to somebody that can reach from here to Zanzibar, then get started. If the only thing holding you back is that you're only going to reach one person, then you reach that one person, wherever that is. If it doesn't reach no one, if this message doesn't reach no one, then no one has a chance to be offended. You can't force people to like you. You can't force yourself on people. You can't force your message on people. If it is for everyone, your message is for yourself at the end of the day. And you won't do anything until you decide that it's making some good in your life or it's making you feel better at the end of it. This is a very selfish thing. And I invite you to become selfish over your life. Most likely, after you become that way, you are going to start helping other people even more so. Just have something to say. And don't build it off the backs of other people. Believe in yourself enough to get started, even if it's just one person, to hopefully a little bit more. Have a great day. I'll see you as soon as possible. Bye.